I'm with it.
George, outside those pennies on your work, what's that? Those pennies on your work. Like, we think like money.
Yeah.
I'll finish doing the rest of them, people divide it,
Yeah.
and then the ones that are 1950, there's like, I just thought it'd be worse.
Yeah. I thought anything.
Hey. Nobody's still alive that was born in a.
Okay, boom, you guys start. I'll see you at the breakfast or lunch, whatever.
Right, it should get.
Ready? Please turn off your phones. Notice is hereby given of the regular meeting of the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District on September 12th, 2023 at 8 a.m. at the district's office located at 1605 Whitaker Drive, Friendswood, Texas. I call the meeting to order. Please stand for the invocation and the pledge.
Our dear Lord and Father, we're so thankful that you have given us another day. Father, we're so thankful that we can meet together here and we consider items of very importance to our friends and neighbors here in the city of Friendswood. At this time, Father, I'd like to pray for Kathy as she has lost her father. Be with her family, put your comforting hand upon them. Bless us, Father, as we meet today. Give us wisdom, give us knowledge, help us make the best decisions possible. In Jesus Christ's holy name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Father. Citizens' comments. Members of the public are invited to give comments at this time, lasting no longer than 3 minutes. Comments may be general in nature, may address a specific agenda item. It should be directed at the entire board. Anybody want to address the board?
Can I make a brief comment?
Yes, sir.
At the last meeting, some comments were made and I kind of wanted to clarify something. It was brought up that yes, my wife is the Galveston County tax assessor collector. But I want to make it clear, she's not soliciting business. They probably collect, 39 to 40 governmental entities. They have the she works with the state legislature. She's appointed to a select committee to study sustainable tax relief. They also do DMV work. The office is identified as one of the top, 4 or 5 offices in the state of Texas that do the DMV work. Of course, they do voter registration and they do a sundry other things. So, she has plenty of things to do without looking for somebody else to collect taxes for. But she does do that because it's a very economical service and it's usually in the public's best interest to allow the tax office to do that, and it's been included on the bill. My interest kind of gets involved there a little bit because I think that the school district is using money to collect taxes themselves if they don't need to, and then they use y'all kind of as an excuse that they need to keep doing that. So I didn't want to make it sound like anybody was out here soliciting their business or soliciting trying to do that. That was mine and mine alone comments. Anyway, and if you have any questions, you can always ask me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don.
Okay.
Out of 5. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, to follow along with that same note, and I want to say that what Don didn't say, that the tax office collects at just as good of a rate in Friendswood and Upper League City as Friendswood, as FISD does. And it falls down where you get into the mid-county and the South County. So, I want to make sure that you understand that the collection rate is good, because let's face it, if you have a $5,000, $10,000 school tax and you have a whatever $400 drainage tax, what are you going to pay? You're not going to just forget the drainage tax. So ultimately, I wanted to say that. I also wanted to say that the drainage district is forcing the school district to collect taxes on all those parcels in League City, the side of the freeway, that are not in FISD. So that is adding cost. And, I don't know if Don mentioned cost previously, but, I had heard it's about $4 a parcel for the school district to collect it, and 28 cents a parcel for the tax assessor collector to just put one more line of ink on a tax bill that's going out anyway. So I really believe that it's fiscally responsible. And even if you've got some kind of deal going where you get free tax collection because of the ag barn or whatever, it's still costing the school district. And fundamentally, the school district is the basis for all of our property values. So, we single float with the viability of the school district. So I would not like to think we're getting, as the drainage district, a good deal off the backs of the school district, the students, the teachers, and other groups that, require those taxing amounts. So again, I would highly recommend considering having the county collect the taxes for this area, because again, it would save taxpayers money overall, in an overall savings, and it would just be extremely efficient, and especially if we get the school district to build that. And they also have good hours. Thank you.
Thank you. Review and take action on Westland Ranch drainage impact analysis, Danabom Engineering. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Got a motion, second discussion. Everybody looked at the plans. I'm good.
Okay, Scott, explain it a little bit.
So the purpose of this was to look at the Atlas 14 impacts and update their usage on the property. So they've added, I think it was around 12 or 15 acres down here. You can see some of the usage colors have changed, and so that's all it says. I think
There's some wetlands issues, right?
I think the report did mention that, so they're not touching the portion of it due to that. So
Thank you.
All those in favor?
All
All those opposed, show it be unanimous. Item B, review and take action on Thomas Manor Senior Living Preliminary Drainage Plan, Everest Group. Fair motion.
Make a motion.
Got a motion? Second?
second. Second.
Discussion? Good. Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? Scott, you answered my questions. C, review and take action on Riverstone Montessori, Friendswood Preliminary Drainage Plan, Everest Design Group. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve. Excuse me.
Sorry,
Got a motion? Second?
I'll second.
Discussion? You answered my questions on that too. All those in favor? All those opposed, show it be unanimous. D, review and take action on First Baptist Church Friendswood renovation preliminary drainage plan. Daniel Scott and WGA, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second, any discussion?
Second.
Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed, show it be unanimous. E, discuss and consider approval of the request to purchase regional detention from FM 518 and Old Road, Friendswood. Request to purchase 1.46 acre feet for regional detention for the purpose of, for the proposed development. Daniel Scott, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Got a motion, a second. Discussion? I'm good. All those in favor? All those opposed, should it be unanimous. Item F, review and take action on a one-year extension of DC's Contracting Services LLC. I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
You all reviewed the pages. There was before. We hadn't had an increase in,
Since 2012, we've had two. This is the second increase.
there you go. And I think it's
They're relatively insignificant, a couple of dollars here, a couple of dollars there.
nice work on that, Joseph. All right, call those in favor? All those opposed, should be unanimous. Consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda that anybody would like to have removed? If not, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. All those in favor? All those opposed? Project updates. Joseph?
A lot of work's happening on Mary's Creek. Right now, they're finishing up the duct work on at Dunbar, and you should be moving in shortly to start the slow paving there. Then that crew, Jerry, is moving off of Cards Creek Drive. We have a bad washout there that we've got to fix, so he's moving there. And then behind Kroger's, he's got all the bank work done and stuff, and now we're working in the pond, cleaning that pond up over there. Then on the other side of 2351, on both sides of the creek, they're continuing making all those improvements. On the detention ponds, detention pond 1 is complete, except they've got to do all the pilot channels and the outflow and all concrete work. Today, they're moving over to detention pond number 3 to start that work as well. General contractors, they're continuing to clean up right of ways and easements for us and stuff, and they're doing a good job. And our mowing is slowing down, but there's some places that we're able to mow and stuff that needs it, but everything's moving along. The bars, roughly around 5,000 cubic yards of debris that we've removed so far. And yesterday and today, they're doing maintenance on it. And so tomorrow they'll get back to cut.
Since it's so dry, can we get into some of the spots and knock that high blood wheat down that's dead or?
That's what we're
Okay,
doing.
okay.
And then one other thing, as Lonnie mentioned, ask everybody to keep Kathy and her family in their prayers. She lost her dad this past Saturday.
I had one question. Should have asked it before, probably have, but I've forgotten the answer. On the downstream side of the 2351 Mary's Creek, how far are we going to take that back towards Farrell's office building?
Well, we just talked about that yesterday. We're going to pull it back further.
Yeah.
what it is. I think, was it 30 feet that we're gonna put? And now that we found out what we call the Kroger ditch that comes under, when it gets on this side, we're gonna do improvements on there because it's got 2 6x6 box culverts coming underneath the road. And then it comes into just a little bitty V channel, which is like a water chute coming through there. So we're gonna make that improvement, put like a 12-inch or a 12-foot flat bottom and put a wing wall on it to kind of relieve a lot of that pressure coming out from under the road.
Just blowing up that corner there.
So how much distance going between O'Farrell's building and where we start working?
Roughly about 30 feet.
30 feet. Okay. Thank you.
You will.
Basically a maintenance firm.
Yeah, and for getting in and out of there too.
Question. What time of rise season?
Hmm?
Looking cloudy out.
Need some moisture, that's the deal. I've got to have some moisture. I'm not gonna put good money on that money.
I get it.
But I'm hoping this coming week, we get enough where we can start planting. We got a lot of stuff to plant.
Well, the phone says maybe today. Anyway,
Like-
you're,
What you see on the internet, you believe?
yeah, it's the truth. Anyway, you understand the urgency. I want to keep everything in
Oh,
place.
yes,
It
yes.
looks really good.
We got them on standby, so as soon as we get some moisture, we'll definitely get everything seeded.
Scott?
Sir, follow up on the Prince William Forest pond expansion. There's SMC identifies the wetlands in the existing pond bottom. It's right now, the question is whether or not they're jurisdictional. He's kind of in limbo.
Forest of Friendswood adjacent to Cherry Tree? Is that what we're talking
No,
about?
it's
Expansion of the forest to Friendswood, the second detention pond.
that we're
They're back.
yeah,
Near the lift station.
back up towards
Got it.
Creek.
Okay.
So it's down there close to the outfall where it just naturally staying there. Obviously, it's not like that right now, but he's kind of in limbo because he doesn't know how to submit because the administration, Biden administration made some comments about the interpretation of what's jurisdictional and what's not back in March, and the Supreme Court came back and told him that such wasn't jurisdictional, something like this. And so the Forest Engineers is supposed to come out with the guidelines on how to submit for these situations. And so I think another 2 to 4 weeks, he'll be able to submit for the core permit for that project.
Question, so when the pond, the existing pond was developed, it was not jurisdictional.
Correct.
So would it not be grandfathered?
That's the question, Ms. Teresa.
Okay.
So I think the rules that came out in March or so by the Biden administration, I think it made it jurisdictional. There is a family or a developer up in the Great Lakes, Michigan area that rebutted them and it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and they said they're correct. It's not jurisdictional in this situation, but now we're in the red tape portion of it, filtering down how do the different entities respond to it and all that. So again,
So that's within the existing pond?
yes,
So it's a man-made wetland?
yes.
Oh, sure.
And,
Is that it? You got any more good news?
Working on revising the DCM. If you don't have any other comments, Ms. Teresa had a lot of good ones. So Mr. Jim did too. Waiting on WJ. They're supposed to get back regarding modeling criteria. Update that in October. So we'll keep plugging along. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have something.
So our deadline would be 12/31.
That's what, yep. And the city should have some input too. We're gonna try to make sure we 100% match up, right? So,
Did they address their attachment 4 with our recommendation? Have they responded back to us?
I believe, yeah, they're just,
When it's adjacent to the creek, that one?
I got you, yeah. I think when it comes to attachment 4, they're just saying they're passing it to GCCDD.
Yeah, they're just passing it. When they get a building permit, they pass it straight to us. But I did email it to Aubrey and Brian. So
So followed up.
they're well aware of it.
Okay, so the process would be they would come to us first for drainage and then they'd go to them for the permit.
They go to the city to get a permit, and then the permit notifies them that it might be adding new impervious cover, and then they come to us. And they said, if submit it to us for review. And then if it's along the creek or tributary or whatever, then that's just
triggers it, okay. So normally if you do an attachment 4, there's no drainage and stuff. That's where I was going with it. That's how they could circumvent it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Groovy. Problem solved. That it, Scott?
Yes, sir.
Need anything from me on the DCM?
No, sir.
Okay. When we get some time, I want to go over the last few pages, some of the formulas.
Okay.
Not sure that we don't need to adjust them because we're going to 14. Just my opinion, but maybe you.
I think that's what WGA is looking at too.
Okay, all right then. Enough said. City council?
Joseph, I had a quick question on the barge. How much total debris have y'all gotten since it's been on the water?
Roughly around 5,000 cubic yards.
And just really briefly, last night we adopted a tax rate of just a little over 50 cents, 50.7 cents. And second lowest tax rate we've ever had. I was really concerned when they came out with the 52.94, but they scrubbed all that and got it cleaned up and got it down to about 50 cents. We have covered the major expenses that we have with the bonds that we issued, some $30 million this last year. So going into the new year with a little bit of money, and hopefully we get a lot of work done.
Same revenue as last year. Is that basically it? No new revenue?
Another 4% over what we were last year. A total of 8% over the no net revenue rate. But
Okay.
with the no new revenue rate was 46 cents, and we were at 48 cents, and we're now at 50 cents. So it's about 4% over what we were last year.
That's less than inflation.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. No city engineer here, no P&Z here, no league city council. You have the floor, Mr. Brown.
How y'all doing today? Just an update on the Westland Ranch development. Similarly, we were looking at that drainage report just like you guys. So we're in agreement. We're prepared to approve that as well. We are starting to see plats and plans for development on the southern half of the development. That's extending Magnolia Bayou south to 517. And we've seen some plats for a few of the sections down on that end. I've got an acceptance inspection scheduled for tomorrow for their section 4, which is that's back on the northern half of the development, but it's directly adjacent to Magnolia Bayou. So things are moving along. I think that's all I got, unless y'all got any questions for me.
You ever get any response back on that Bay Area Boulevard, expanding that pond?
So last communication I had was with Samantha at Friendswood, explaining to her that Chris and, our council are going to need to see some sort of numbers or analysis that gotta show some benefit.
And she's working on that to get you there.
I'm not sure, but she said that was her intent.
Would you send an email to her and copy me
Okay,
as a follow-up?
okay,
That way I can follow the chiefs.
we'll do.
Can't see why it wouldn't be a benefit. We're gonna north of you, it's right there on the border. But anyway, I'd like to follow that one.
We'll do.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Peggy, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good morning. I sent an email probably early this morning about the GCPD meeting getting canceled, which I don't know from your perspective. From mine, it's pretty good. It frees up a little bit of time. The executive director and executive board members of GCPD met with Lieutenant General Scott Spellman from headquarters, and they met in Port Arthur to specifically look at what's going on that side of of our Ike Dike activities. The turning dirt, that part of the program was authorized in 2018. And as part of that discussion, the Lieutenant General encouraged us to identify, like I had talked about earlier, smaller phases of the project. And he was using the term, which will be familiar to us, we need to get things that we can turn dirt very quickly, just like the shovel ready. So he was meeting with the Galveston district, and they have been working as a result of discussions we had after the appropriations decision to identify smaller phases. So as I understand it, what he will do, what the Lieutenant General will do, is take that information, and he intends to meet with OMB and to talk not only in terms of what it is we have identified, where we can move the project forward very quickly, additionally tie in the benefits for flood mitigation or flood prevention. Additionally, he will be prepared to talk to them about how we can roll in some of our proposed phases of the program to be covered under the bipartisan infrastructure law. And we've always talked about the alternative avenues we have to try to pursue funding. And we're going to emphasize the importance of the state support. If you remember, we got 200 million specifically for our GCPD district. So the discussions are active. There's a lot of emphasis on getting something that we can move forward very quickly, and hopefully the majority of people will understand and be supportive of, because they'll see that this is the avenue we have to try to go forward. I know Teresa and Sam attended the core stakeholders meeting that was streamed, and I was able to have some of that on background. So I was really pleased. I was able to watch the Scott Elmer presentation, and additionally they had Tim Busha from SJR6, and I thought he did an excellent job of explaining where we are with the planning committee, and hopefully engaged a lot of folks in their interest to understand that regionally we do have a strong opportunity to impact what goes into the state plan. So I'm sure Teresa and others may talk about that, but personally, I thought it was an excellent forum with a wide variety of speakers. And then I was just thinking about it, this is simply my thought, is that since I typically attend the League City Council meetings and use the public comment period to address different issues, if Lonnie is not able to attend and there is something specifically project-wise or information-wise you would like to have communicated, of course, you can always communicate to the city council members, but I use the public comment period as additional opportunities to communicate with city council, but also to let our citizens know what's going on. So please reach out to me if I can help you in any way.
Thank you, Peggy. You guys communicate, you got emails and everything, all right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Can I mention something, add something on to that? Peggy's absolutely right. They're looking for things that are lower dollar amounts, lower budget amounts, and that might provide us an opportunity with the push of League City and other entities to get back on the Lower Clear Creek flood reduction project, because some of the things there will be much lower cost than the great big gates. And some of the folks that are pushing that will look to get rid of the things that would really help us the most. And use that money in their portion. There's going to be a fight, for money. And we need to probably get out ahead of that if we can, with soliciting support and having discussion about it.
You were recanting exactly what we're doing. But just so you know.
Right. Yeah. But I just think that's important.
No, it's very important. Keep the low hanging fruit where people will spend the money to get it done. We're after it. Why I'm kind of staring over here, Matt.
Well, we need to talk to Anthony and, you know, John and all those other folks over there in the city and rouse that back up because they're gonna go back to the WARDA process again, is my understanding.
Okay, and, last week about it. Farm garden. I've got man on speed dial. But Lonnie's gonna help me with that too.
And I don't want to belabor this, but for those who are involved in the discussions and Kevin, I'm sure you know this, there is some money under what don't ask me to go into details because I just know enough to know this,
You had me at money.
that there is cat money out there by the Corps. And so they have always looked at that opportunity to fund some of our lower Clear Creek. And those discussions are ongoing.
You following what she said? Okay, you need help? I'll show you what I vote. Okay.
Yeah.
What is cat money?
See, I knew you were. That, I'll get offline with you, but I will.
I'm trying to see what the acronym means.
Yeah, those acronyms kill you.
Yeah.
It's going,
and
I'll
what it
probably
is-
just spit it out here in a minute, but
What it is money that they have through different prior activities that they have managed to set aside. I can get you different.
similar to CDBG and, anyway,
But it's federal.
Yeah,
It's not
Yeah.
like.
well,
state.
that's correct. It is
Allocated, but not
core
funded.
money that they have
Okay.
in a category that allows them a little bit of flexibility.
Well, that would be good.
Well, that's excellent. And they're looking at that.
Lower Creek watershed.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That Rusty would love that. Rusty would love to get that going.
We all would.
Yeah. We did.
Okay, board of directors report. Bonnie?
It's best thing I can say is I'm hearing some community comments about the project going on behind the Baptist church, how good that's looking, and people are very pleased with it. They said drive by and can't wait to get seed in the ground,
Yeah.
and then it's really going to be a nice thing to look at. Oh, and I might also point out that Peggy and I have been talking about, she's going to introduce me. I do not know Mayor Long. She's going to introduce me to him and establish a working relationship, hopefully, between this board and city council and the mayor's office.
And,
That's going to happen.
and Nick has affirmed that he thinks that's a great idea. So we're on a roll.
I'd like to offer my condolences to Kathy. And that's the other thing I have.
Teresa?
I'd also like to offer my condolences to Kathy and her family. Would also like to thank Joseph Anderson, who took Lonnie and me on a tour of the different projects that are going on in our district. It was very informative, and I
Very
appreciate
much
him
so.
taking the time with us. And finally, as Peggy mentioned, I attended the Army Corps of Engineers seminars on August 22nd and 23rd. The 22nd was Industry Day, geared more towards the firms that do work for them. And then the 23rd was the Stakeholders Forum, and there were many interesting presentations, very informative. And I got to meet Colonel Blackman, who is the leader of that office. So that's it.
My condolences to Kathy and her family. The district. Y'all don't forget to fill out your sheets, meetings and attendance. And Scott, I have a question. To your knowledge, where are we at on that, what we call the Banfield property?
So the right of way across there,
Yeah,
thought that we sent the exhibit to flood control and we were gonna get some direction back whether or not that was it. And then if it is, and we need to work on.
can you resend that to me and copy Scott and Jonathan? He's been on paternity leave. Been trying to reach out to him. I know. But I'd like to re-stimulate it. I've reached out to Scott last week with a phone call, but he's had a lot of meetings. So if you could help me rekindle that fire again, I'd like to get moving on that. It seems like the forest thing's gonna be a while. Even if we do get something, you and I both know what it means when you mention that wet word.
Yes, sir.
So that's all I got. Board of Directors, executive session. Call the meeting to order, executive session. The Board of Directors will convene into closed meeting pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.072, discussion regarding real property. Peggy, thanks for everything you do.
Absolutely, sir.
We're gonna get into executive session, the